Hey, what's good? Josh from Gold Standard Growth here, and in this video, we're going to be going through how I took a brand from $44,000 per month all the way up to being able to do over $14 million a year and pushing beyond that every single month, aiming to be at $25 million in 2025, which is absolutely insane. Now, we're going to go through everything that we did to get to the position that we're in now. And this is over quite a long time frame. This is over 3 years. But the first couple of months will be particularly important for you to see exactly how I took this brand from a small kind of garage brand or a mum and pops kind of brand all the way up to a brand that is just at a level now that is life-changing. The growth is incredibly aggressive, and yeah, it's just insane. I can't wait to show you these results. But before we get into the results, I just want to introduce myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Josh Richards. I am the owner of Gold Standard Growth, and I'm a growth consultant who works with e-commerce brands that want to aggressively scale and do life-changing stuff. And what you'll see here in this case study is life-changing, it's business-changing. If this business wanted to now exit, they would never ever have to work again. Multiple people at the top of the business wouldn't have to either. But let's start right back at the beginning. Let's not get into the exciting stuff too quickly, but what I'm about to show you here, this jump and how we aggressively scaled within just 30 days, is incredibly important for yourself as a brand owner watching this, because I'm going to break down a few things that you need to implement to be able to go ahead and achieve this type of growth. So I'm going to make my bold head the tiniest bit smaller here, and it's a bold, shiny head today. So we're going to obviously start at $44,000 per month, which, by the way, is not a bad position to be in. But essentially what happened was the owner reached out to me. He was working with an agency and they just weren't doing a good job. There was ads that weren't set up properly. The creatives sucked. They were producing their own creatives and they didn't have the right strategy. And I could see that from the get-go. A lot of agencies out there that have multiple people involved in them, usually it's the apprentice or somebody pretty low down that's setting up your ad account, that's being paid the same amount every single month. They didn't care as much as they should have to be able to produce the results that we actually produced together. So I started at $44,000 per month, and you can see here when we started working together, this growth here, we went from, I'm just going to get into it. I wanted to build the suspense a bit more, but I know you just want to see exactly how the next month went. So we're just going to get into it. But you can see here where we started working together. And then the next month here, which was March, we jumped all the way up to 388K, which I'll just give you a minute to take that in. We went from $44,000 all the way up to 388K. But what's the real flex here is look at the conversion rate. The conversion rate went from 2.8 to 6%, 6.1%. That is absolutely insane. And the reason that this happened, and this is where you really need to have a sip of that coffee and take notes, is because I set up solid foundations. Now, what I mean by this is a lot of brands that start off, they put their products on a website, they run ads, that's it. Now, they will get real-time feedback from the market. They may be at a 1.5 return on ad spend, a 2 return on ad spend. That feedback from the market is telling that the brand owner, that even though they probably don't want to hear it and they might not actually be hearing it, that what they're doing is not substantial enough to convert. So what I mean by that, and what I mean by solid foundations, is I implement something called the lift and scale method. I implement this with every single one of my clients before they even launch ads. And what it is a combination of building out an offer which is absolutely crazy and doesn't hurt your gross product margins, because we pair it with making the customer feel stupid for not paying more. Okay? And what I mean by that is we have an offer that encourages upsells and downsells, and we have depending on the brand, we'll build long form sales offers, or we'll just build a killer one-time offer that works with their gross product margins. It allows their conversion rate to go crazy and essentially allows them to pull in more money per order to be able to then go ahead and scale. In this case, the conversion rate went up, so our CPA went down incredibly because of the offer that we implemented with this brand, which just allowed them to scale like absolute crazy. So if you take away anything from this video, you need to build a killer offer. Then you need to have that offer incorporate the fact that you can upsell. And yes, it may be a long form upsell process, but what I see that works best in most cases, if your average order value is $30, $50, is just one killer offer that works well with your gross product margins, that encourages the customer to go ahead and buy more. Now, we've achieved obviously a great conversion rate with this, but what we also paired it with was an aggressive growth strategy. So what I mean by that, and the channel that I use primarily to aggressively grow brands, is Meta. I rely on Facebook a lot for my paid media. TikTok and Google, we'll talk about that later because that is incorporated into this brand, obviously to get them to the point where they're at today. But all this was here, this jump, was an offer that was just killer and encouraged the customer to buy more, made them feel stupid for not buying more, and an aggressive growth strategy that demanded a return on ad spend from Meta. The combination of these two is what I call solid foundations, a great offer and a great strategy for your ads. So that combination completely revolutionized this business, took it to 388,000 within 30 days, which is absolutely insane. But what happened after is just even more insane. So the month after that, so remember the 388,000, we then went on to do 475k. Again, just insane. Kept up that insane conversion rate as well. And at this point, it was just a game of starting to aggressively scale the brand through Meta even further. Okay, so then I believe the next month we wanted to sustain at the period that we were, because as I said, I like to pride myself on giving warehouse headaches. So we did have some slight fulfillment issues, but when it came to actually, scaling, they were a bit like, Josh, you've done some great work. Your team has blown this up, but we kind of need to calm down now. So it was a bit of a coasting month. For the people in the US, coasting, I'm trying to think the US, it was just a chilled month. Like, please just sustain where we're at. We can't handle anymore, which is a great problem to have in business. But then the month after that, it was relatively the same. We were able to scale a bit further, I remember, and we went up to 524k within a month, which is absolutely insane. Now, that year, we sustained growth throughout the year, and I'm going to show you actually where we ended up that year. And if you remember, we didn't work with them January and most of February. In fact, we did not work together either, except for at the end. So that year they did 4.9 million. Now, imagine your business going from 44,000 or 10,000, 20,000, all the way up to nearly $5 million within a year. This was fundamental business changing. This was it's just a crazy amount of, I guess, lifestyle change, business growth, and it was beautiful to see, and it was beautiful to be a part of. But what we did add throughout the year, and we managed to see, we managed to add, as you can see here, a 6% conversion rate overall. And what we ended up doing is actually raising the average order value a bit as well with another offer that we implemented, which was actually allowing us to scale even further, because when your average order value is higher, your return on ad spend is higher, as long as overall the gross product margins work to push up the average order value and be more profitable, then the sky's really the limit. You obviously need to figure out your gross product margins and if the offer would work. But within the first year, we did 4.9 million. And of course, to get to that point, we didn't just use Facebook ads. Facebook was 70% of the traffic, but what we did add is Google ads as well. And then in the next year, 2022, we actually added TikTok ads as well. But one of the things that a lot of people will say is, oh, Facebook kind of works for my brand and Google does, and TikTok just doesn't work for our brand. All these platforms, all they're doing is amplifying what you have. They're not putting your ads in the wrong category. They're not going ahead and doing things in a bad way. They're giving you real-time feedback and telling you that what you're doing is essentially not enough to convert. And that's why I put so much emphasis on everybody I work with and the people watching these videos to just put time into an offer that makes the customer feel stupid for not purchasing. And most importantly, once you've done that and you've achieved a good conversion rate, make them feel stupid for not buying more. Raise that average order value as we've done here, and you'll be able to fly, because whatever traffic source you then push it to, it may be TikTok, it may be Facebook, it may be Google, because of that core offer, you will just be able to completely fly. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of CRO that myself and the team implemented into this, and we made sure that everything was super, super watertight. And that is important, but it's nowhere near as important as getting things right with your offer and then pairing that with an aggressive growth strategy that essentially just amplifies how awesome your offer is. And it does need to be the right aggressive growth strategy. You can't just go in and start spending 250, 1,000, 500 a day on Facebook ads just because you have a great offer. But yeah, I'm super, super proud of these results here. And look, I can't wait to show you the next year. So in 2022, we amplified the brand further by adding in TikTok ads. And I'm just going to show you the year of 2022, which again was absolutely insane. $11 million. And again, we were able to up the average order value even further with a different offer. There was another product that was added to the store as well. And the conversion rate did drop because we switched the offer, but the AOV went up, which actually overall was more healthy for the business. So now coming into 2023, we're going to start off here and we're going to go all the way over to December. This brand then went on to achieve, drum roll please, $14 million. And the most beautiful and simple thing about all of this is that essentially we were just able to, over time, scale with paid traffic. So we were able to, as you can see here, we were just able to sustain. I know we had a lot of warehouse issues, but we did have 1 month here, which was absolutely insane. And this is the really, really, really cool part about this. But we were able to sustain throughout these months here. And then we saw a massive shoot in sales. And I'll get into why that is now. And in December, we did see a drop off just because this is a health food product. This brand is always going to have a harder time when it comes to Christmas. and a lot of supplement brands, they do. But growth over this year was super, super sustainable. And what happened here, and what actually happened around, I think it was about January time, is that they made so much noise in the market that they were actually scouted by Shark Tank. So if you really, really, really want to go ahead and do your research and you want to dig through all of this, you might be able to figure out what brand it is. But Shark Tank does have hundreds of episodes, so yeah, it's you might be there for a while. But essentially, they stirred up and disrupted a market so much that they went ahead and did a crazy month in November when they actually aired on Shark Tank, and they were able to use that traffic. I'm not going to say exactly what happened on the show, but they were able to use that traffic to obviously bring in more customers, but they wouldn't have been able to do that in the first place if they didn't go ahead and aggressively grow. And I know I'm sat here as a marketer showing you about this core offer, how you can build it out, a good bit of CRO and a good team, and an aggressive growth strategy on Facebook, which you can then amplify with Google and TikTok. That is the marketing side. And there was a few other bits that as we got into 2022, particularly, we started using more creatives and being able to test more creatives. And that was a huge thing for us as well, to go ahead and sustain our growth. But all of these things that I was doing on the marketing side is nothing in comparison to what was being done on the fulfillment side. So obviously they're having to deal with this aggressive growth, and that has caused us in a lot of cases to essentially have issues when it comes to fulfillment. This brand really has grown too quickly, and right now they're just actually opening up a huge new warehouse to be able to sustain this growth and grow further as we go into 2024. But essentially what I want you to take away from this as a brand owner, because you may be looking at it and thinking, wow, this is absolutely insane, but I don't want a $10 million a year business. I want 150K a month business that is going to feed me and my family and my employees, but I don't want to get to this stage. That's amazing. Don't get me wrong. But to be able to do that and to even grow to those heights of 150K a month, you want to be able to go ahead and implement in solid foundations. Use the lift and scale method, which essentially you just take your product, your offering, you rewire it so that you make the customer feel stupid for not purchasing, and you make them feel stupid for not purchasing more. And you have a great upsell process. You do some real good CRO work, and then you essentially just go ahead and pair that with an aggressive growth strategy. I always choose Facebook to start with because it's the most sustainable. TikTok, you generally need a lot of creatives, and Google relies heavily mostly on search traffic. Obviously, there's Performance Max, but just to get started and get yourself in the market, Facebook and Instagram is my first port of call using meta ads. So I hope you've taken some massive value from this video. I know it's a relatively long video, but if you want to take away anything from this video, if you want to 3 to 5x your sales and you want to just aggressively grow, or maybe you only want to grow by 40%, 30%, 50%, whatever, by going ahead and creating an amazing offer that makes your customer feel like they're getting huge value, it works with your gross product margins, you can up your average order value and then pair it with an aggressive growth strategy on Facebook, you can simply do that. You can be at 10K a month and get to 30K a month just by doing that and beyond. Because I would imagine if you can go ahead and scale like that and implement in a good offer, really, there is nothing stopping you going past 80, 100K a month. So I hope you got massive value from this video. I know I always talk about solid foundations, but it's so important. So many brand owners, they just get their product, they just put it on a website, and that is it. And that is to me, just brand suicide. Because at the end of the day, and you may have seen this in some cases, I've seen brands that have a awful landing page, in my opinion, built out on ClickFunnels or just with a horrible theme. The images aren't incredible. They haven't paid thousands and thousands for photo shoots, but they just got the offer right. And people are coming to the landing page and saying, "Oh, I need this," and oh, now I feel stupid for not purchasing more, and oh, there's this upsell, and I think that this would be smart. And long form upsells I only use with certain types of businesses, but a great core offer I use with most businesses. And even if I do pair a long form upsell and downsell process, I do pair that with a great core offer as well. But I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself. Forgive me, it is late. But look, if you want to go ahead and speak to me directly, there'll be a link down below in this video to go ahead, or somewhere on the website, have a look around, to go ahead and book a call with me to speak about exactly how I can do this for your brand, whilst you sit there and watch the fireworks happen, and then you run to the warehouse and say, "We need to sort this out now," and I give you a massive headache. That's essentially what me and my team do. If you want to speak to me directly, go ahead, you can click in for a no obligations free consultation with myself, and it's very much like this. It's relaxed. I do not need nor want too many clients at the moment. I like to work with brands that I can work with very closely and produce results like this. Because if you're going out there and hiring an agency, good for you, good for them, but maybe not good for you in the end, because you will just be stuck at that 30,000 a month, 40,000 a month, maybe even 10,000 a month. And aggressive growth is what you should want for your business, and it's what I hope you achieve, and I hope that you are one step closer by watching this video. So yeah, if you do want to talk to me, click the link somewhere around this video, or just give me a message on Instagram at ScaleWithJosh, and I will speak to you soon. God bless, and I'll speak to you soon.